Welcome to Dr. Ta's Real Talk, which is the third component of the Stronger Transformation Framework. Dr. Ta's Real Talk is presented by DQ Consulting LLC, empowering individuals and businesses to grow with clarity and confidence. Real Talk is a limited vertical series rooted in honest conversations about life as it actually shows up, not polished, not packaged, just life. Real Talk is where growth meets reality, where healing is still messy, where boundaries are being tested daily, where love, fatigue, faith, identity, and becoming all live in the same body. I'm joined by OnJerya Smith, and together we're having the conversations that people think quietly to themselves, they feel deeply, and rarely do they say out loud. So wherever you're listening from, pull up a chair. This space is for truth, reflection, and real life. OnJerya, 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 OnJerya.
Teresa.
Yes, I had to start like that because I know you're good at throwing shade, and this might be your shade night. People are exhausted, but still expect to pour endlessly. Now, when I was thinking about this and preparing this session, I thought about that because we know that, you look up exhaustion on the internet, you might see my picture. And
don't be mine beside yours.
you're gonna be like, okay, what? Two sisters, they're together. And then this idea of pouring endlessly. And that made me think, and I'm sure we're going to get to this, but it just made me think, why do we think that we should keep pouring when there's nothing there? We just hold that in the background. Why do we think that we should keep pouring when there's nothing there, even though folks may expect that? But really, I want us to jump from here first. What is the difference between being tired and emotionally depleted?
The difference between being tired and being emotionally depleted. When you're tired, you can still keep moving. You can still keep pushing. You can still come on, my little red wagon, come with me. Come on, the little engine that could. I think I can. You're still together. But when you are emotionally depleted, baby, you don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know if I'm going left, am I going right, am I going up, am I going down, am I going north, am I going south, east? You don't know. Like the emotional intelligence, the emotional feeling is gone. Meaning that I can't keep it together. When I'm just tired, I still know my boundaries, right? Like I still can keep it cute because I'm not 100% gone. But when the emotions are depleted, honey, you may meet me a side of me that you ain't never seen before. Because I no longer can keep it in the middle, if they like to say. When you're driving a car, you're supposed to stay on your side of the road. Don't drift over to that middle line, honey. Stay right here on your side of the road. It's easier to do when you're tired because you're still in tune. You're still connected. When the emotions is gone, you done checked out. It's almost like when the people say they're taking the is Alexa Pro or whatever, where it just cuts off all your, people can just be out there just lollygagging around and you just, oh, that's nice. It's like the body is there, but there's nobody home.
And I think that you made a very good distinction, OnJerya, because we all know that I have been burnt out very recently.
Yeah.
And when you start to describe it, the difference between being tired and emotionally depleted, you're right. Now, for me, I can keep going if I'm tired because I'm always tired. See,
Right.
It's like my friend Marvel, the Hulk, Bruce Banner. The thing is, because how does he control that beast now? This is the new Marvel stuff, guys. And he's like, the thing is, he's always angry.
Right.
So therefore, it's like by him always being angry, he's able to temper it, is what he's saying. So I'm always tired. I'm always tired. But there comes a point when I've gone past tired.
Yes.
When I go past tired and I keep pushing it, after a while, the wheels fall off.
Yep.
And sometimes I know the wheels have fallen off, and sometimes I don't know the wheels have fallen off. My last episode, when I was out of work for 3 months, I knew, but I didn't know. But I knew though, but I didn't know. Because what happened was I had pushed so long that it became my reality. So if I was doing the Dennis Perkin, I was upright in an upside down world because my world was upside down, but I did not see it anymore. So I just kept pushing forward. Like I said, you just keep pouring out of your empty pitcher, but you don't know that you're empty. And if you don't have somebody that can have real talk with it, then you'll get in your mind that that person has turned against you. No, they haven't turned against you. They see the reality and you're in a distorted one.
Yep.
And they're trying to pull you out of it. But when you're in something, you don't have to be burnout, guys, because this is real talk. You could be in the relationships.
Yep.
They're not serving you, baby. But again, you in it. I done invested this amount of time. And you don't believe that you can back it up and jump. You can. We do it with the line dance. Let's jump and move another direction. Because once you get in it, it becomes second nature. And it becomes your standard. And then you can't pull yourself out of it. You can, but it takes some work. So, OnJerya, I got to ask the question, even though I probably know the answer, but why do people continue pouring into others when they neglecting themselves?
Well, I can't really talk about other folks, but if it's anything like my reason, it's probably the reason why. I don't know that word. What was that B word you just said? Boundaries. I don't know what that is. I feel like I'm not going to say millennials, and I'm not going to go to that far of saying that. But I will say that I do believe that certain generations have a hard time with that B word, boundaries, right? Because we grew up in not quite believe it, the beaver time frame, but we grew up in a time where you are doing, like, what is it? Children should be seen and not heard. Do as you're told. Don't really ask no questions. So as you have those values instilled in you, and you continue to grow, once you become a little more experienced, and start being able to formulate your own opinion, right? Because as we know, we basically are a product of our environment, which is why we do some of the things that we do. But once you are able to step out on your own and start living life for you and not the way that people tell you life is, you then understand that boundaries are very important and that it's okay. It's okay to say no. I know that it's hard, right? Like, I know you say all the time, like, well, no is a sentence. Like, that's it. No, no. But I don't want to say no because I feel like I'm letting that other person down, right? Because if we go back to the Bible, right? You're supposed to do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. So therefore, you're supposed to help your fellow man. So even though I am running on fumes with nothing to pour, I'm still going to continue to pour into you, even though I have neglected myself in the process. Because sometimes I don't even know that I've neglected myself. Uh, I think you feel like it's your civic duty, right, to make you feel good. I just, because when I make you feel good, ultimately I feel good, right? So I'm going to continue to pour and continue to pour, not understanding that I'm pouring into you, but who's pouring into me? Just like my best friend's wedding, right? Where I can't think of the actor's name, but you know who I'm talking about if you've seen it. He is over here chasing, oh, I almost had her name, Cameron Diaz. And he's chasing Cameron Diaz, and Julia Roberts is chasing him. And her friend says, "That's great. Now who's chasing you?" And in that moment, she realizes, oh, well, this person that I'm wanting, this person that I desire, this person that I'm pouring into, well, they're not pouring into me. They pouring into everybody else. So then why am I continuing to pour into them? Sometimes it's because, again, it's the way that you were raised, right? Maybe it's a comfortability. Maybe it's that I feel good. Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe it's really just understanding that it is definitely one of the cracks in your empire that you are running from, because it's easy to focus on someone else than it is to focus on self.
And you're right, and you said a whole lot here, and I don't want us to miss it, because really boundaries are so important.
Yeah.
And for lots of us, we weren't taught boundaries. And I think you're right. It's about the time period that you were raised in, or the experiences that you had based upon your home life, because you may not have been raised in Leave It to Beaver era. But if the environment was such that we're going to operationalize the golden rule to the max, and it's all about everybody outside that home versus the people on the inside of the home, then your self-worth, your identity, everything is tied to doing for other people. So you don't have no boundaries, because if somebody needs you, you're Johnny on the spot.
Yep.
But that's to your detriment. I thought about codependency, because really sometimes we're teaching that even though we don't see that as the adult. But we really are sort of promoting this codependent in the relationships with people, where I'm going to just give everything away and I don't get nothing. And I'm supposed to be okay with that. You know how it is. Anyway, you be in these different relationships. Well, you see, if I'm coming to a relationship and my crack is that I am going to give, it doesn't matter who it is. My thing in my lot in life is to give and give and give and give to everybody else is happy. Well, that's a crack.
Yeah.
And why it's a crack? I'm not saying be selfish. You can't give everything away and have nothing for you. And I'm not even talking money. I'm not talking that type of stuff. You cannot give of yourself fully to everyone else and then expect to be able to live your life in a balanced way. You don't have it, because there's nothing left after you have given it to everyone else. The question becomes, why do you do that? Why do you do those? Why do we exhibit the behaviors that are hurting us? And we sometimes know that they're hurting us because it's leading to burnout. It's leading to other things. Again, there are patterns to how we shift and how we move in life. But, sometimes we want to observe the pattern. Sometimes we want to sweep that pattern under the rug. But I just want to level set and say this segment is brought to you by Irene Vaxberg. After a life-changing accident left her in chronic pain, Irene Vaxberg refused to give up. Today, she inspires others by sharing her journey to hope and healing. Follow Irene Vaxberg on Instagram. Find her at health underscore VAKSBERG, Vaxberg. OnJerya, how does overstimulation, your favorite word, affect decision making and relationships?
It clouds your judgment.
Mm.
It clouds your judgment because when you're overstimulated, you're not able to really use that discernment that we're all supposed to have and supposed to use. You're not able to listen to the red flags, right? You're not able to listen. You're not able to observe the things that are happening because you're overstimulated. And as a result of being overstimulated, you then allow things to slip through the cracks that you wouldn't normally allow to happen because you're not able to recognize it. So being overstimulated, ultimately, it hurts you. But I would say that one has to realize that they are overstimulated. But if you are someone who is operating always on the I'm tired method, I'm exhausted method,
I can't with you.
I'm emotionally drained method, will you even realize that you overstimulated?
I don't want the audience to miss this, OnJerya, because you talked about when you're overly stimulated, because the question was, how does overstimulation affect decision making and relationships? Well, as you said, it clouds your judgment,
Yeah.
and it therefore then weakens your discernment. Well, if your discernment is weakened, your ability to see what's right in front of your eyes is diminished. So, is it a trick of Satan to overly stimulate us so that we cannot see the attack that is being that's coming at us? Because all you can see is just that whatever's overstimulating. You don't see anything else. And even if you see it, because your mind has become clouded, you cannot understand the significance of what is happening. And then it made me think about this too, to bring that on home so people can understand it in real time worlds. We become vulnerable. And when that happens, we're in a vulnerable state. But sometimes you get love bombed. Am I saying it right?
Mhm.
Now you think it's a good thing. Work with me. You think it's a good thing. But when you get so overly stimulated by this love bombing, meaning they everything you could have ever wanted in a lifetime. They're everything. If you think it, they are that person. If you want it, you got it. They're everything to you. They check all the boxes and they love bombing you. Once they have love bombed you long enough, now they control you because you see your mind has got cloudy.
Yeah.
And you can't think clearly because your discernment has been minimized. And you are now in a vulnerable state, which means there's a crack in your empire because you yourself, your person, you are the empire. There are no boundaries anymore. You accept everything. And when you know that he or her, they not quite, something has shifted, but because they done love bum you so much, you just can't afford, even though your mind is telling you not going to pull it back, baby, you won't. Because you don't want to lose what you think that you have, even though you see there's a crack. And what your perception of what the relationship was, you see that that's not what it is. But you'd rather be deceived, as Dennis Perkins would say, we'd rather be deceived in order to be received. That's something that may fit some people's way of life, and in others it may not. But I bring it up because we're talking relationships. We're talking all sorts of relationships. You deny yourself in order to be received on jobs, in organizations, churches, whatever. relationships, sibling relationships, all of these things, but at what cost? So when does resilience really become self-neglect? Now let me say that again, because we know we love that word resilience. Oh, I'm such a resilient person. But when is resilient really just self-neglect that we done wrapped it up? Still a pig, wrapped it up, put on some lipstick, but it's still a pig, baby.
Well, I guess my question is, do we really know what resilience is?
Good question.
Like we're good at you. Oh Lord, I feel like I'm at work. We're good at using these buzzwords, but do we really know what that means though? Like, do we really understand like exactly what it means? Like, yes, when you hear resilience, you're like, oh, I have the ability to bounce back.
Right.
I survive.
Mm-hmm.
I overcome.
Mm-hmm.
But did you though? That's the question. Did you really bounce back? Did you really overcome that circumstance? Or did you really succumb to it? And as a result of what the outcome was, it appears that you bounce back.
Well, there's always that wolf in sheep's clothing. And I think sometimes it's exactly what you've alluded to. Because of the outcome, you buy into this corporate, going Dr. Velma Bagby now, reclaiming your voice. You buy into this corporate idea of what resilience is. But when you start truly peeling back them Fritz Pearl onions, you realize, no, you haven't. But that means, OnJerya, you got to stay tuned in and be able to block out some of the noise that would really prevent you from being able to focus on you. And that's the reason why you got to have the real talk. Because I think positive self-talk is great. But then sometimes you got to define self-talk and positive. Because if I'm constantly telling myself what I want to hear, that may not be the type of talk I need to have. Because we live in a culture where we glorify endurance. Superwoman, let me put my cape on.
Yeah.
You see, we glorify that, and it becomes a part of our DNA because that's the strong Black woman.
Yeah.
We've been the strong Black woman since slavery time. We have glorified that. So that is now the standard that we operate under, some of us. And some of us have taken it to a deeper level than others. So, I was thinking earlier about type A, because I'm a type A person. That's a crack. Now, it may not be a crack for other people, but it's a crack for me because I'm a type A person. So I am very focused. I am bum. That's crack, baby. Because you see, if I can't balance that, it's going to take me down. So yeah, we have glorified it, and people, we are received because we are doing things that other people want from us. So because I've always talked about brainwash. You guys work with me when I say this. We brainwash ourselves into believing that it is a good thing. Yeah. Well, no, baby, they just using you. Crack. That's a crack in your empire. Because until you understand when people are pimping you out, you'll continue to do the same thing because you think it's turned the other cheek. You think it's the golden rule. But are you ever getting anything? Miss Gloria is our mother. And I said to Miss Gloria years ago when I was a little girl, I said, well, that, do unto others, you have them do unto you. And so I said to Mama, well, Mama, they must want me to do bad to them because they're doing bad to me. She said, no, that's not the way it works. Well, I'm very literal sometimes. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you. Now let's bring it forward 4 decades. If you pimping me out, I may not pimp you out, but I should realize that you're pimping me out and that I need to make a change. As Michael Jackson said, let's make a change. Because if I don't, I'm always going to get the short end of the straw. And I'm going to go down with the Titanic. You're going to be just fine because if you got me, if you pimping me out, you probably pimping out 100 people, baby. So you're going to be just fine. Right. It's all of us, your little minions, that's going to go down with the ship. But you're fine. So again, this idea of resilience and what does it really mean in this self-neglect, it's been glorified. And I think that we have to get beyond making people feel guilty or that they're obligated to do things even when they've gone past exhaustion. They're past that burnout cycle. They don't have anything else to give. And, again, we've got to look at how do we redefine what success means, successfully reducing chronic exhaustion. Because again, we're having the conversation. What does that look like? But it can be obtained, but we have to look at what does that look like for me so that there are no more cracks. Or if there are cracks, we are sealing them cracks. And hopefully we'll be able to seal them and they won't come open anymore. But even if they do come open, awareness is so important. So, I thank you guys for sitting in this conversation with us. Real talk is not about having it all figured out. It's about telling the truth about where you are and giving yourself permission to grow from there. As you move through the rest of your day, we invite you to sit with this question. What did this conversation name for you that you have been carrying quietly? You don't have to resolve it today. Don't put that pressure on you. Awareness is part of the work. We have to be aware of what our cracks are in order to eventually resolve. And as OnJerya said in another episode, we are constantly healing. She threw shade on me, but it's a constant process. Written a lot of books about it. And that's the reason I keep trying to get the message out, because it's not a one and done. We're constantly healing and constantly rebuilding. This conversation is part of a 4-episode limited series. Each episode stands on its own, but together they explore boundaries, burnout, healing, and becoming in a real life. Becoming in real life. So in other words, you're going to be a real person in your own life. You're not going to have to pretend no more. And you know the drill. Before you go trying to take care of someone else, please make sure you take care of yourself first. Bye now.
Bye.